What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with some Destiny 2 news and updates. So, as always, Bungie have a few words for us. They clarify some things about Act 2, some updates in the game, changes, and a lot of the typical weekly commentary from Bungie. So, we'll talk about that stuff, as well as updates and fixes for certain challenges in the game, and we'll discuss some upcoming content, secrets associated with the final shape which still haven't been uncovered just yet, and the possibility of certain raids being reprised, as well as dungeons with master variants, and we're talking about some that we've had in the past in Destiny 2. So a few things to discuss today. As always, I hope you guys enjoy the video and find it useful. If you do, be sure to get subscribed and I'll keep you posted with more Destiny content. But without further delay, let's get into it. And first up, Bungie have some updates regarding updates. So they say, we've updated our Discord server's announcement channels to share more updates directly to your doorstep, regardless of what Discord server you spend your time on. So players can now opt into updates from Destiny 2 team, Bungie Help, and the Bungie blog at discord.gg/DestinyGame. So if you want to get some more automatic updates from Bungie's social feeds, that's now an option and you can check it out via the link. But one of those updates, and Bungie said, they've issued a fix to address Master Salvation's Edge Challenge triumphs not unlocking properly, and moving forward the triumphs should unlock when the requirements are met, but at this time they're unable to retroactively credit players who completed Master Challenges, and they know this can be frustrating, not only in that it's difficult content, but also the challenges are only available once per week. So they're planning to enable all Salvation's Edge Challenges for a full week starting on July 23rd. So that'll be a weekly reset next week, and this should give players an opportunity to complete all of the challenges on Master difficulty to earn the Sparrow and title rewards. And they say as well, players will be able to earn one Adept weapon per challenge completed at Master difficulty, and that is per character. So frustrating that those triumphs weren't working as intended in the first instance, but at least we are getting a fix there. So look out for those challenges all being live at the same time next week. Next up though, let's discuss some of the Act 2 content and updates this week. Firstly, keep in mind, because I have seen some discussion about this, but Bungie clarified that Revenant, which is the next episode starting in October, will see each act's entire story available to players at launches instead of week to week. So on the basis of what we have right now, that would mean that we get 3 sets of story quests essentially at the same time on the first week of each act, but that change doesn't happen this season. So for the minute, we'll still have another 2 weeks after this reset where story is dropping for Act 2, and it will be the same in Act 3, but then the main change will actually begin in the next episode. So bear that in mind. Next up though, further on the subject of Act 2, players were asking about focusing options for the new legendary weapons, and the Destiny 2 team said, we can earn focusing options for them through the new Act 2 questing. And I believe the upgrade on Failsafe that will allow us to actually focus specifically for either of the new weapons, including the sidearm, is something that we'll get access to via one of the research quests in upcoming weeks. We did get a new research quest this week, but it hasn't allowed us yet to focus specifically for the sidearm or the pulse rifle. Of course, we can focus for weapons in particular, but that more specific option looks like it will unlock in a future week. So a little bit frustrating, I suppose, for folks who haven't yet got a decent sidearm, but it's something that's coming down the road shortly. Otherwise, 2 of the battlegrounds for Act 2 are now active, and the story steps alone, as well as the research quest, actually have us play through them a whole bunch of times. So by the time we finish this week's quests, we're fairly well acquainted with the new activity. And as a seasonal activity, these are alright to be fair. I don't think they really break the mold on what we would expect from a battleground, but if anything, the environments and the spaces that Bungie have created for them are pretty awesome, and I really do like that new aesthetic that we've got for Nessus with the palm trees and things going on. So in that respect, it's pretty good. It'll be interesting to see what these are like when we get them as Grandmasters in a year's time, which will probably happen, as we've seen with other battlegrounds. And of course, there will be a 3rd Echoes battleground that will drop next week at Reset. So I'll keep you posted on those things as time goes on. Something else which is pretty good with Act 2 is the Red Death Catalyst. I haven't quite got there just yet, but it comes with Helping Hand, where final blows charge the weapon, and when the weapon's charged, the next final blow creates a healing burst at your location and leaves a remnant behind that provides restoration to allies. And that second kill does create an AoE with restoration ×2, which of course will be incredibly strong if you pair it up with some of these subclass options like Ember of Empyrean and Benevolence. So give us your experiences about that. Otherwise, a random side note here, a lot of players have been asking about my Titan's fashion and what my transmog options are and things like that. Actually, it's pretty basic with this one, as on the most part, I'm just running the Salvation's Edge raid armor. It's a little bit mismatched because I still don't have the legs from Salvation's Edge. I've had a lot of family stuff going on in the past 2 or 3 weeks, which has kind of sideswept me away from Destiny. So I'm playing catch up on a few fronts. Otherwise, though, for shaders, I'm rocking Precursor Vex Chrome and a mixture of Dead Orbit's Fate and Dead Orbit Camo. And it does look pretty good, doesn't it? Obviously, most of the credit goes to the Salvation's Edge gear. I just finally need to do a few runs of the raid and actually pick up the legs, and then get some better stat rolls and things like that. For a few final updates right here though, players have been discussing some of the secret Pale Heart triumphs, and of course Final Shape's been out for over a month now, but there still are some which are hidden, which is definitely interesting, as it either means they're time gated or somehow players haven't discovered what they are yet. One of them will probably be for the Final Days quest that Micah 10 has in the tower, that is the old tower on the Pale Heart, but there is a quest that doesn't appear to have dropped just yet, and it's interesting, we were kind of looking out to see if it might begin with Act 2, but it would appear if anything is left to drop, that we're still going to have to wait some time until it becomes available, which is interesting. So we'll have to see what those are when they do finally drop. Otherwise, in terms of future content here, potential content that we might see could be reprisals of certain raids and master versions of dungeons. So a player shared here, I'm not sure how they were doing this, but in the raid selection, Scourge of the Past actually showed up. I don't know if it was a bug or some kind of exploit, but it shows a normal and master variant of Scourge of the Past, and the master is at 2010 power. We can see as well that this is actually on the featured legacy tab. And there was another one as well. This one's actually got a clip that was shared with it of someone launching a master or grandmaster variant of Pit of Heresy. Interestingly though, when they booted up the master version, there were actually some champions near the start. So could it be that Bungie are holding these in reserve and potentially plan to bring reprised versions of certain bits of content back at some point? It certainly seems possible. I don't know about a grandmaster dungeon, but again, players have been able to preview these in the game, which is curious. I know a lot of players are wanting to see Wrath of the Machine come back. I'm not sure if that's ever going to happen at this point, but of course take this with a pinch of salt, but it seems entirely possible based on this that Bungie have plans for certain dungeons. Pit of Heresy obviously has been spotted in that menu, and potentially Scourge of the Past coming back as well. For the moment though, that certainly isn't guaranteed, so again, temper expectations, but the indications from that data being in the game is that it might be a thing that we see at some point soon. So let us know your thoughts below, but one very final mention right here, and Destiny Bulletin shared that Axis Studios, which is a VFX studio, is shutting down, and they were previously responsible for a variety of Destiny cinematics, including all the way from back in Rise of Iron, the Red War campaign for D2, Forsaken, Witch Queen, Lightfall, and the Final Shape. So they've done a lot of work on some of Destiny's best cinematic content. A shame that they won't be doing it anymore. I don't know a lot about the work they've done otherwise, but just an interesting add-on right there, and of course all the best to the folks who previously worked at that studio and whatever they plan to do next. However, for today, that is what we have to speak about. So once again, give us your impressions on any of the Act 2 content that you've played so far. Let us know how your hunt for a solar rocket sidearm's going, as I know that's one of the key rewards that players are looking out for. But if you've enjoyed the video, a rating really does help us out down below, and be sure to get subscribed and hit the notification bell so I can keep you posted with more Destiny content. Otherwise though, cheers for watching, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.